How would you like to make your first million? And today we have Jason joining from Philadelphia, a tech entrepreneur. So Jason, tell us, what are the 5 steps that tech entrepreneurs should be doing in order to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Well, you definitely should be following steps number 1, right? You don't want to skip the steps because a lot of people, they say they have the biggest idea, but they don't want to follow the right proven steps. And the first one would be to validate your idea, right? If you don't validate it by telling at least 100 people to see if they even want your idea, then you're wasting your time building it. Once you find out who those people are, then you have to do beta testing, iteration, right? So you want to really test your product in the market, whether it's a hardware product or a software product, and really kind of test, get feedback, running surveys, come back, fix it, keep doing that over and over again until you fine-tune your product. This is what's called number 3, building an MVP, a minimum viable product, right? So that's your goal. Your goal is to validate, beta test, build that MVP to get that minimum product out on the market so that maybe now 1,000 people can try it or 10,000 people can try it. Once you do that, then you have to really find your market. You have to target your market and really figure out who wants to use your product the most. This is the moment when you may have to pivot. So this is number 4, is you should be prepared to adapt to the market, prepare to pivot and change what it is you're doing, because what you think is the market and what you think you're building this for might not be the result. And that happened to me recently. We could talk about that later. And the 5th thing, of course, is then you want to scale your business, right? You want to get investors to invest in you, find a team that wants to work with you, and you want to fine tune that product, get your customers, get your revenue, and start rocking and rolling.
Jason, let's dig deep into this because we have, I also invest in tech companies, and this is what we see in the space a lot. We see, this is the typical scenario that we have a software developer, right, that is creating this software that's going to change the world, yeah? And then it's putting all the resources there, all the money, energy, remortgaging the house, asking all the money to family and friends to have this software that will change the world. And the product is so good that all the clients will come and find it and buy it. And then, you know what I heard. And then what happened is that after all these resources is exhausted, that this is not an MVP. What we have is
version,
like a version 5, a huge elephant, yeah. We taking this elephant to the market and nobody knows what is this for. And now you don't have time, money, energy to do the step that you just shared with us, which is be careful, because now is the moment that you need to start to pivot it. And this is when you're going to need time, energy, and everything that if you don't save it for that moment, sadly, Jason, we see this a lot this in tech. And you know, one out of 6 entrepreneurs that come to this very podcast, 5 steps how to make the first million, they are tech entrepreneurs, right? People could be into the wrong assumption, yeah, because the other ones are property investors. And people are listening to the podcast and say, well, you know what? Making money in tech should be easy because, you know, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 6 people that Harry is interviewing is tech multimillionaire, tech entrepreneur. Well, it's easy to make millions in tech, right? And and when people again look at you nodding with your head, like the people can be in the wrong association, because the people that come to a podcast are actually the people that made it.
Right.
What happened with the other 98%?
Yeah, that aren't
nobody never heard the story. What happened to them? So Jason, help me out, because and tech entrepreneurs the reality, how actually work, because we want them to succeed.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And they believe it more.
So that you actually, that most entrepreneurs build version 5 of their product and then bring it out in the market. They spent a year, $100,000, and then it's a failure, right?
Very common.
I've had a web and mobile development shop for at least the past 20 years.
Wow.
before I started building my AI platform that I'm here for today. And every single client who came to me for 20 years came to me with either one of two things. Either one, they spent a year and 50,000 or $100,000 building this behemoth of a product, and they wanted me to fix it for them and make it marketable for them, and I had to kind of go through and just rip it apart and start all over again, basically. Or they would come to me with like a 20-page outline of what they wanted to build, and I had to rip off 19 pages and say, here's one page, and we're going to build this one page. And then we
For the
can build,
moment.
yeah, and then we can build page two and page three and page four, right? So the people that didn't listen to me and said, no, 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 we're going to do it my way, they all failures. Every single last one of them. The ones who did listen to me were successful. They actually succeeded, and we built a good product, and we got more. So when we talk about failures and successes, it is easy to make money in tech. You went to Stanford. You worked at Google. You had an exit in one of your startups. You went to MIT. You worked for PayPal. You worked for Meta. You had a large salary. You have the time and the knowledge and the connections to build something that can go to 10 million, 100 million, $1 billion and become a unicorn. For everybody else, we don't have that lottery ticket that they had, right? So we have to work 50,000 times harder. We have to earn revenue. We have to get traction. We have to build a functional product. We have to put together an amazing team like the Avengers, you know, and we have to really beat out all the competition that does have funding and Google backing and all this stuff, right?
Absolutely.
So it's I always tell people it's kind of like going to a NASCAR race with your Toyota Camry. You know what I mean? Or you're going to the NBA All-Star game and you're playing with like a little league basketball player, right? So you got to play with the big boys, and it's very hard to do that.
But Jason, it's very hard to play with the big boys. However, if they follow your recipe,
Yeah, of
which is
course.
okay, rather than the 20-page product,
Yep.
let's left these 19 pages and let's do page one.
Yes. The MVP.
Let's develop page one only. Let's do marketing and sales. Let's see the traction on page one. Let's see,
Yep.
let's listen what the client said.
Yep.
Let's sell page one first. Yeah. And when say page one is selling somehow with the money that page one is making, let's develop in part two, taking into consideration that the money that sales one page one is making. Yeah, that's the other question I want to ask you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and really you're getting onto something here, but really the key is once you finish that MVP, that minimum viable product, and you get that page one out there, then you want to ask the people who are using it what they want page two to
what will
be.
be the page two? But
Yeah,
exactly,
you
too
don't want to build
clever.
it yourself.
Exactly. You
No, you want to ask them
100%.
what features do you need? What features do you want? What will you pay
Probably it's no
for?
page two. What needs to be big? Maybe it's page five.
Maybe it's page 20, exactly. So you don't know, right? Let the market tell you, let the data drive your decisions.
But then, Jason, I want to explore a little bit more in the part that those one that listen to you, they were successful, and those one that didn't listen to you, they failed. Yeah. And my question to you is, why they didn't listen to you? Yeah.
Because they thought
So
they knew everything. Who
big
thought they knew
big problem
everything?
that we see in tech. Big problem that we see in tech. That tech startup founders, they are not coachable.
No, they're not
They
they're not technical people. The people that would come to me, the people that would come to me always were not technical. They were people who either owned a business
uh-huh.
or they had a really good job and had some money,
Hmm.
and they wanted to break out of that. They were bored. They didn't want to work at their job. They didn't want to run their business. They wanted something big that could become big, right? And they would see all the articles in the news like Facebook, $100 billion, Google, $100 billion. This startup got bought by PayPal for $20 billion. Like, I have an idea like that. Okay, great. But you don't know anything about technical stuff. And what most people don't know, and Harry, this is really important. Everyone should hear this. What most people don't know or realize is even if you build the best product in the world, it is still extremely difficult to market that product.
100%. 100%. Software as a service, especially I mean, the customer that acquire the clients. But the thing is, Jason, that the usually see, or either we have non-technical people with money, yeah,
Hmm.
which is
Hmm.
something that that is really dangerous, yeah.
Yeah,
To attack a space with this background like that, and or
for
we have
sure.
the other spectrum where we have the software developers, yeah, they have a little bit of money, but because they're software developers, they can develop the product themselves.
Right.
At the end of the day, we back to square one. The even in this podcast.
Well, that's a good point. The software developers, right? So a lot of software developers, if you read online, they stuff on like Reddit and whatnot. They have really good jobs where they're making $200,000 a year,
Mhm,
right? And
mhm.
then while they're at work or on the night times and weekends, they're making their products and they're putting it out there. And maybe after 6 months, they build the really good platform, right? Either software as a service or something else, right? And every single one of them, I see this all the time, Harry. They always say, but I can't sell it. I don't know how to sell it.
Even worse, I don't want to. I don't
I don't
want
want to sell it. Yeah, I
yeah,
just,
anybody to sell. My job is to write, and because also they coming from a corporate, right? And when
yeah,
you're coming from a corporate, you are used. This is your job. This is not my job. This is your job. This is not my job. So they coming from a company that can make corporate company making 200,000, where they have very specific limited. What's the job? Yeah,
yeah.
and now they're creating their own startups, and they bring in the culture for corporate to the startup
Doesn't work
environment,
that
which
way.
is because in the startup is completely opposite. You need people to be more general, starting by you that you're the founder. You cannot. I see people in tech with tech pro software developer saying no. I am the CEO. I developed this product, but I'm not gonna sell it because this is not my job.
Yeah, so they're supposed to be the CTO.
I'm
They're
gonna
supposed to
put
be
a
the C.
CEO. I'm gonna put someone, and that's
Yeah,
their
but
job. This is
Harry,
not
those
my job.
those
I see people
developers,
talking like that.
but those
So can you
developers, right?
imagine?
They need to listen to us, right? Those developers, those are CTOs, not CEOs. They're supposed to be chief technical officers. They have to find someone like me or you who like the product and see a clear path to selling it and say, I'll be the CEO for this much percentage of the company equity. And as I get you sales and we can start making money from this, I get my percentage right away. I get my salary.
Mhm.
So, and of course, if we sell the company, then we can make a lot of money. That's really what a lot of these technical people have been saying online, these software developers. They're looking for a business person who can help them as a co-founder sell the product. But those people are also hard to get because they're running
All of
big
a
com-
sudden,
they're running big companies. They're making, millions of dollars a year on their own businesses and working for big companies. So why do they want to work for, some software developer? Well, I would say if there's business people out there who've already made a lot of money and they're kind of bored because a lot of people these days, they're always bored. Like they don't have anything to do. They're just sitting around the house, like making money, but what else to do? So that's when they say, okay, I'll do you a bone and yeah, I'll work with you and see what we can do. Why not?
yeah. But Jason, the thing is that and we come back to culture. Yeah, it's really the most of the entrepreneurs in this podcast that I ask, if you had to start all over again, what would you do it different? Yeah, and especially the tech people tell me, Harry, man, if I had to do everything again, I would put more attention to culture. Uh, I didn't know that it's gonna take me 100 times harder than I thought, and I didn't know that the product I had to iterate it so many times that what I thought. I didn't know all that. I thought that that path is gonna be shorter, and knowing what I know now, from the early beginning, we will nurture the culture. We will embrace the culture. We will embrace the team. We're gonna bring this mentality that we all are like you said, like the team, like the Avengers. That we are the
Yeah.
Avengers. We are the unstoppable, and every single character can do here in the company anything.
And each character from,
If
each
today
each
the whole
member,
company need the sales, everybody stop writing code and everybody go and sell the product. If after now it's selling, we come back and things like that. Everybody can have in their own way, right? And this mentality from corporate, like, oh, this is my job, this is not my job, I don't want to do this, I don't know. Well, when you are a small team and with a couple of co-founders and 3 members, everybody had to do everything, especially when it
Yeah.
comes to a product market fit in their own ability, the best we can. This is no, oh, this is my job, this is not my job. It
Well,
doesn't work.
here's the thing about that though. So, and the reason why I brought up the Avengers or even the Justice League, I like both, is that each member of this superhero team has a very special power and a very special ability, right? And that's why I brought that up, is that every single team member really does need to have a very special ability or skill, whether it's graphic design or selling or coding or finances or marketing, right? They each have to have a really good skill. But at the same time, they have to be willing to learn, at least learn how to do other things, right? They might not be good at them, but they have to at
They
least
have
be
to
willing to
learn.
learn and
Absolutely.
wear a lot of hats. And one thing I learned, I'll tell you what right now, Harry, anyone listening to this or watching this, is if you want to build a company and you want to get your first million, right? You personally have to learn as much as possible about everything. So you should know how to do a little coding. You should know how to do some social media ads. You should know how to create videos. You should know how to write scripts. You should know how to make a website. You should know how to write blogs. You should know how to reach out to journalists. You
At
should know how to
least
do
the
a little
basic
bit of
knowledge.
everything so
At
that
least the basic knowledge,
the
Jason. So you
basic knowledge of
understand,
each
because
thing.
sometimes your team members are hard, sweat and tears in the startup, working actually
And you
for
have to help
that
them.
you develop the product that's your company, and you have this culture issue that they don't appreciate, and they just don't appreciate because they don't even understand the complexity of the job of the other
Yeah.
person is doing, because they don't have the basic knowledge.
I mean, Harry,
They
right
just
before,
read in the magazine, oh, Facebook 100 million, oh, this company find this multi-million client. You're reading the press, and then
no,
they
and
can come to Jason and say, oh, all the companies that I know, they all find clients, and Jason, you don't find any clients. I say, hold on, all the companies that you know are the only one that's succeeding.
yeah,
This one is just a
because there,
startup, nobody knows you,
there's
and
only a
it's a
handful.
challenge
But what's
to bring
it's
you.
funny, you made a couple of things like earlier you said, what would I do differently, right? And it's such a clear answer that happened to me during the pandemic is when the pandemic started in 2020 and I was with one of my partners, one of my business partners, and we had built an app 10 years ago that did really well, but then it kind of just fell off and it kind of dissolved. But it did really well for several years. And we decided, let's bring it back, but let's change it. We noticed in the pandemic, people needed friends. So, because they were very lonely. And so we built this video friendship app called Spinnr, and it did really well for about 2 years, 2020 to 2022, roughly. But here's where things got interesting. And here's the thing I would have done differently originally is I would have gotten into AI a little quicker because what happened was we put AI in the app and everybody started saying they wanted the AI for themselves, but it was more of an app AI, not a personal AI.
Mhm.
So then we built Vengo AI to be a custom solution for these people. And guess what happened? We found out that it really wasn't for consumers. We found out that business owners wanted to use Vengo AI. So we had to pivot to a B2B SaaS product. And this
Wow.
took us, 6 months to figure out by following the steps. We built a minimum viable product. We did some beta testing with a couple hundred people. We found out that the business owners wanted it. We built a really good demo. We got grants and financing from Microsoft, NVIDIA, and OpenAI. They said, okay, build the real product. And here we are launched with a B2B product that has 15 customers. And now we're about to really take things off.
Really?
And,
Wow.
and so, that's how you do, like we
Oh, you
did.
have 15 B2B clients. That's amazing.
Well, we want to hit 50, right? That's our goal. Our goal is to hit 50 clients. And the good thing about B2B is you
Wow.
don't need a million consumer users
Absolutely.
on an app. You need 50 customers. And so, what I learned and what I would do differently is one simple thing. Stay away from consumer apps. Just stay away from them because nobody's going to invest in your consumer app unless you have a million users and $1 million in revenue. If you don't have either one of those things, they don't care how amazing your app is. So stick to B2B, get those 10, 20, 30 clients to pay for your service, sell the company for whatever amounts of millions you want, and then go build your consumer app.
100%. Jason, I couldn't agree more. The direct to consumer to be people can have the false
It's
approach.
too hard. It's just too hard.
It's expensive.
Yeah, you got to get 1 million users, and that costs
Expensive.
$3 million.
Absolutely.
It's impossible. It's
The,
impossible.
the,
We built we got users, and we thought
the
that was
customer
impressive.
acquisition, the building the community, the creating the social media
Competition, the
content, the
competition and
quality
the
of the
marketing.
thing, all the specialization that you need.
No,
Direct consumer business in tech. Wow, you're talking
I
about.
love the app and people the app, but it's just not going to get 1 million users without funding. So it's just, what's the point?
And if you don't have 1 million users, nobody's gonna give you any
Nobody
money.
cares. Nobody cares. But
Exactly.
now Vengo AI, because it's
100%.
B2B and we got customers and it's a useful product that everybody likes. And
100%.
now people are listening to us.
Yeah, and then after, Jason, exactly like you said, when you have enough traction,
Yep.
again, little by little, like you say, page by page, you can go to explore the direct consumer, which is completely different ball game than the B2B.
Of
Yeah.
course. Of
The,
course.
I'm not saying that it is easy.
It's
Yeah.
not.
I'm saying that because it's not. Yeah. It requires different skills, different approach. You need to have authority. Yeah. For
Yep.
example, you know what you're doing and you do have experience in what
Well,
you're doing. And
I
people
mean,
know
the
who you
biggest
are.
difference, Harry, the biggest difference is you don't need 1 million customers.
Exactly.
You need 50.
Yeah. And
So
I am.
even if convince your friends and family who own businesses to buy your product, and you're good to go. You know what I mean?
And then Jason, like I always sharing with people like how what is more hard, sell 1,000 bags for £1 or one
Sell
bag for one
one bag
thousand
for 1,000. Yeah.
dollars?
And
Is it?
it could be the same bag. You just found someone that was going to buy it for 1,000 bucks.
Even the same bag because the process is the same. If people need to understand that if you're gonna sell the 1,000 bags for £1 or dollar, because I'm based in UK, I talk in pounds, or $1, yeah.
Yeah.
Then you need to go to. It's like you're gonna sit and because the bag is cheap, everybody will go and buy it. It doesn't work like that. You have to do your prospecting. You have to get in front of what the people that buys bag for $1 hang around, and you have to do the research, and then you need to go there, and then you need to be there, and then a lot of time until because they 1,000 bags, and you have to close these people, and you have to. So you have to do exactly the same process that you have to do to sell the one bag for 1,000 because the one bag
Yep.
for 1,000 you go back to the same. You need to find out where are the people that pay 1,000 for a bag.
Target market, man.
You
We go
need to
back to
go
target
there.
market.
You need to be there. You need to take your time. You need to. The only difference is
The price.
selling one, you don't. Whether the other one, you have to finish the 1,000. So, in that sense, B2B is we can say this is the way to move forward with the.
I think so personally, just based on the fact that I've been building consumer apps for myself and for my clients for over 11, 12 years. Well, actually 14 years now. I've been building mostly consumer apps and in my development company for my own company. And I haven't seen any succeed except for the one that I built in 2013. That was from 2013 to 2016. We were able to get about 500,000 users. So that
Wow.
one, yeah, at its peak, we were getting about 3,000 new users per day at its peak. We did get some funding, of course. That's why we were able to do that. We graduated from an accelerator program in New York, and we were able to get kind of backing. But when we tried to raise that next round, guess what? We couldn't. And we tried and we had money in escrow from investors, but without the right amount of investors backing it, it fell apart. And so, even if you're successful, even if you're doing well, even if everything is lined up and you can't raise another round of funding, you're done. You're done. Now, with B2B, if you get 50 customers and they're paying every month and you're making 10,000 bucks a month, 20,000 bucks a month, and you're able to run your company with that money, pay for your server bill, pay for your employees, pay for your ads, and every month you grow 10, 20, 30%, you don't need investors. You're just making money and you're making 30,000 a month and 50,000 a month and eventually you're making 100,000 a month and guess what? your company's now worth millions and you didn't take in any money. So I would always argue that B2B is better than consumer, although consumer is just more fun, right? That's the only difference is consumer because you're dealing with people and they're using your product and you're getting lots of people, thousands of people. And it's like, oh my God, this is so exciting. But you're not making any money, but you're not making any money from them.
Yeah, for the excitement, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Vengo AI was the clear path for us, and that we're launched, people are they're really resonating with our product.
Let's tell me a bit more about your product.
We built so Vengo AI, what we built, it's a way for business owners to create their own AI agent that gets placed on their website so that people can have conversations, whether through voice chat or regular text, to get their questions answered, book meetings, buy their products or buy their services while the owner of the business is asleep or busy working
Oh,
or on
wow.
or on vacation. And
Like a chat box, chat box.
it's a chat box or a chat bot. But the thing is, a lot of people say, well, why can't I use Chat GPT? Well, Chat GPT is a very powerful AI tool for you to have a one-on-one conversation on chatgpt.com. But you can't put that on your website. You can't personalize it for your business. You can't customize its colors. You don't get your sales leads in a dashboard. You don't see the chat history from the customers in your dashboard. You can't get anything from it. It's just an AI. We built all sorts of different tools and put them all into one dashboard. And all you got to do is put one line of code on your website, and that's it. Your AI is live. What we did, Harry, is 20 years ago, I used to build websites. 30 years ago, I used to build websites for people. 20
Jason,
years
are you
ago,
software developer?
yeah, I've been building websites since the 90s, right? And so
Wow.
one day WordPress came out and Wix came out, and it made it easier for people to build websites, right? We make it easier for people to use AI for their business.
100%. I get it. And the other thing about AI, Jason, is like I don't know if you remember, because English not my first language, yeah, and my mother tongue is Spanish. So
Was
I remember the that for me to write a couple of oh my God, sometimes it's taking me like 2 days, because the English and I have to go para by para. Whether today with AI, you say, can you please write this?
translate.
Click.
Yeah, it's
It's
amazing.
unbelievable how, in terms of productivity, what an AI tool can literally do for a business and for the entrepreneur is unbelievable. If somebody is telling me that that I'm gonna have something that will write me in 10 seconds,
30, yeah, 10
very
seconds. It's crazy.
comprehensive
It's crazy.
contract, anything, I won't believe it, And, and somebody
Coding my
will tell me
website,
like 3 years ago. No, this was not that long ago, like 3, 4 years ago.
I
Yeah,
mean, it can generate images for my ads, which it does. It can make video scripts for my videos. It can it can help me code my website. It can come up with so many, it helps me with Google Sheets and all sorts of crazy stuff that I previously had a lot of problems with. Now you're right. Boom, boom, boom. 80% of my time is being taken away by the AI. Now I'm free to do actual work.
productivity exactly is brilliant for productivity. The thing, Jason, with the AI, is like a kid. If you teach them good things, it will
Yes.
learn good. But if you teach something bad to a kid, it's gonna learn bad things. The same thing
Yeah.
with AI, yeah. So at the end of the day, I think that what you guys have different is not only your chat box and your AI, but the database, the data that this
The way
is
they're doing it,
learning
correct.
is like good data points, and it gets improved better and better and better because the database is what they would learn.
Essentially, what you're saying is like a business owner, like let's say a person owns a kitchen design company and she wants to sell her kitchen designs to people. Only she knows in her mind what kind of styles and how to cater to certain customers based on their questions, right? ChatGPT has no idea because they don't know what this business owner knows. But if she trains her AI on our platform
Absolutely.
with all of her selling
100%.
styles and items and products and services,
Design
now
for
the
that
AI
person. Now the AI can serve them. Absolutely.
exactly, but the way she would though. That's the difference. It's exactly the same way that she would, so that it's as if it's her. It looks like her. It sounds like her.
Talks
It
like
basically
her.
Yeah, because it's got her video. It's her. It's her. We make them look like the company colors, the of the owner. So when they're talking to this person, for all intents and purposes, they think it's her.
So Jason, to help our audience, yeah, can you reveal the secrets? What are the secrets to find your first client?
Well, first off, you have to basically talk to everybody you know, right? I mean, you can't just not talk to everybody around you, whether it's your network. How many people do you know on LinkedIn that have reached out to you for a favor? How many friends and family do you know who own a business? How many people have you spoken to on interviews or podcasts? How many people have you featured in an article? How many people live in your neighborhood that run a business? You need to do the work. You have to knock on every door, make every phone call, email. You will get a customer. It's it's almost unavoidable because if you have a good product and you have a connection to this person, they'll trust you.
Yeah. And then, Jason, so the next question that I will ask you is, when do you think that funding is required in order to grow your company? At what
That's
level?
a really good question. I mean, it's funny because we've been fundraising for years because we know that for the consumer app, we can't grow without funding. So with consumer apps, you need funding pretty much right away because even if you
It's
get,
expensive. The direct to consumer is really expensive.
again, you need about $3 million to get 1 million users. That's what you need. So any investor who likes an app enough, if they put in $3 million, they will get 1 million users. And by doing that, the company should take off from there. But investors are not risking their $3 million for whatever reason. I
It's
don't
huge
know.
risk.
It's too risky. B2B, what I'm hearing from all the investors is we need to reach $300,000 in annual revenue. That's $25,000 in revenue per month. So once we reach that number, that's why I said 50 customers. Once we reach that number, then yeah, we have to raise money because $300,000 a year sounds great to people, but it's just not enough to really hire more employees and scale the business, right? We want to get to $30 million a year sales. So we would need to raise in order to do that. So yeah, I would say 25,000 a month in revenue for B2B is a good number.
Yeah,
That's what
with
in
25,000 a month revenue, Jason, you should be fine to raise the 5 million.
5 million. Yep.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
Well, it's hearing from investors. It's what investors are saying to me. So that's much what they want.
Yeah, they're leaning to you. They're just waiting. Yeah, yeah. They shouldn't wait too much. Maybe you don't need them
That's what I'm
because they
hoping
wanna.
too. That's what I'm hoping too.
It's one of the 50. In this, you find Microsoft around your journey. That's it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
We're hoping the same thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's a risk both part.
It
But
is.
Jason, I to a question, right? Because I you say something that I still need to clear. What you said that some founders they listen to you, and those one that didn't listen to you fail, and those one that listen to you succeed. Yeah. And I want to know about the nature, right? Why, if you have a coach, if you have a mentor, if you have someone that have experience, that have been there, and is giving you an honest feedback about how this process work, yeah. Now people don't take your advice because they think that they know better without actually do it. So, and it's that ego what actually made them fail. Nothing wrong with failure, but in that failure comes a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort, the mortgage for your house, X, Y, and Z. So the not listen to you have an implication that ego driven. So whether it's I think the tech founders, they surrender the ego. They surrender. Probably the ego is so high, the pain in the corporate, and they're the king of the world. But with the if they surrender and they actually listening, my opinion, they can go way far in their idea. But is this mindset? Oh, I know better. I have money, so I'll buy my way out. Yeah, and and I can do it. Thank you by now. And they're getting into a minefield, into a place that they don't even know that the complexity that they have and the challenges that they have by itself. So uh, everybody that win an Olympic medals says thanks to my coach, thanks to my mentor, thanks to someone that guide me. Yeah. And then these people come to you and they don't listen. And after they all fail exactly as you described. So what can we do to help these people?
Ooh, man. I mean, you answered it yourself already, so there's really not much for me to add, but I can say this. You said these people have ego and money. What I have found in the past is the people who are willing to do the steps and willing to take the mentorship, they don't have a lot of money, right? That's just the way I've been finding it, right? They don't have a lot of money. So
They
that
listen more, right?
they listen more because they have very little money, and I say, well, that can actually take you to, so which is better than all these people spending all this money and not getting anywhere. Step 3 will get you to an MVP. Step 3 will get you to an MVP. Okay? With an MVP worth investing in, worth building in its entirety, worth marketing. And maybe after a couple months and you get a little extra money back from work or wherever you're getting the money from, do some marketing and see if you can get some revenue, right? We can kind of do it little by little. There's no rush, right? Unless you're in a highly competitive market, there's no rush. Now, the people who have the ego and the money, I have found over and over again, and these people are in my mind right now as I say this, is they didn't find value in what I was giving them because they were so high up with their money, because they had so much money, and they felt because they had so much money, they did something better than you and I did. They felt like I made a lot of money and you didn't, so I know everything. I obviously know how to make a lot of money, but you've never built a tech platform. So you came to me, who knows how to build the tech platform, and then you didn't find value in any of my advice or feedback or suggestions. You just wanted to do it your way. So essentially, you didn't hire a coach or a mentor. You just hired a development shop to build something for you. And in that case, they could have hired anybody. So what's funny about that, Harry, is eventually, after years of doing that over and over and failing with these people, the next client with money that came my way and was not willing to my methodologies, I did not accept them as a client. I stopped taking clients that just wanted to throw money at me to build what they wanted. Was that going to hurt my business? Sure, but it was going to make me feel better though, knowing that I'm not building something to fail. The point in that, I want to build to succeed, not build to fail. So I stopped building as entrepreneurs more. I started helping entrepreneurs more and taking people on a lot of money, but they had good ideas and they were willing to put in the work. If they were willing to put in the work, those were the people I wanted to work with. Even if it meant less money, I didn't care, because the world it's not all about money, right? You need to also be happy.
Yeah, and yeah, and it's sad, but yeah, sometimes the it's when I hear it entrepreneur, this is my pro, I'm like, oh, here it comes. The and those ones that have the ability to listen and to surrender the ego and to, okay, let me hear more. Let me, I'll. It's actually make me happy to have them.
Yeah.
Make me happy. I'll those startups that I sometimes give advice and move the forward. They can they cannot afford not even 1 hour of my time, but I can't spend time with them. It's not about money. It's about fulfillment. It's about to try to. It's about something that
Seeing
you can tell
results.
to these people that
Seeing
actually can make
results.
a huge change.
Yeah. Like what? Because when I help someone for an hour or two and they come back a week later and say, "Look what I did," I can see the results.
Based on what you told me,
Yeah.
and amazing. Thank you, man. You get paid in a different currency. Better
Yeah.
than money. You get paid in appreciation. You get paid in fulfillment. You get paid in love. Um, and actually, that this company eventually is gonna move forward. And if this company is gonna move forward, of course they're gonna need more development, and it's called they're gonna hide the development from
Then
you.
they hire my
That's
company. Exactly.
absolutely. And now you're making the money, and the flow is coming positive. in your way. So Jason, let's expand a little bit more. If people are in love with our conversation, they want to find out more about your coaching, how can you help them or become a client of your platform, how they can find you, how this process works.
If they Google me, Jason Sherman, they'll find my website, jasonsherman.org. And on my website, you'll find links to everything I have, including vengoai.com and all of my offerings as services, whether it's my book or my course. And I'm very vocal and easy to get a hold of on social media. I'm on every social platform, so free to message me and let me know what you need help with.
So Jason, your opinion, the apps to direct to consumer dead, no, especially now that we have these what we call it super apps like Uber, that you have Uber Eats, Uber this, Uber
You need
that.
a lot of money. You
You
need
have
like
you
if
have
you're going to build a
now.
consumer if you build a consumer app, you need a couple $1 million. You do because like you can build an amazing app and slowly grow over 10 years if you want, which isn't going to work because you still need money to market it. And when people say, "Oh yeah, but you can grow organically." It's so hard, man. We've been trying everything and it just doesn't work. Its app is incredible. We get great feedback from the people who use it, but we need more. And when you're battling all the social apps in the world that have hundreds of billions of dollars and saturating the ads, you can't beat them. You can't beat them.
100%.
So go B2B, get those customers, get that revenue, 25,000 a month. Investors will throw their money at your face.
And then yeah, because the apps, yeah, at the beginning it sounds very easy. Okay, I'm gonna make an app and I'm gonna make a lot of money. And yes,
No,
that was
no,
right. Sounds amazing, but at
please
the end
no.
of
Anybody who thinks that, please stop. Just
ah,
stop. Oh,
my app is gonna conquer the world. Well,
no, it will not. It will
uh,
not. Just stop thinking about it. Build
yeah,
B2B.
there are big boys, and especially is what we call it because now, right, than apps, now the situation, this one that's super apps, right? That
Yeah,
apps they are so powerful,
yeah,
like Uber is one of them, right?
yeah,
That get you right. I think that they're developing. I don't know if it's in place now that you can even book a plane.
yeah. I mean, when you have
You can
billions of dollars, you
take
can
your
do whatever you want.
food. You can and they have so much.
Well, just look at Google. Google has Google Maps, Google Search, Google Ads. Google this, Google that. It's like there's so many different things Google has because they have billions of dollars.
And it and to go close to this space, oh god, good luck with
Yeah, no, don't bother. Just build something small, get customers, get your revenue, and get your investors.
and
Blow up that company.
and
Maybe you'll sell. Maybe you'll sell to Google or Facebook, right?
exactly 100%.
Sell
But
it, sell it to them as your consumer app with your millions.
exactly.
That's my plan.
So, Jason, one more question: why do you become an entrepreneur? What's the story?
I mean, it's funny. Like I've always been an entrepreneur, and
Have
I
you
don't.
ever job?
I did. So so when I first realized I wanted to be an entrepreneur was by accident. I was going to visit my family in Spain when I was young, and when I was 12 years old, I bought pulseritas, these little like really cool bracelets that were
Yeah.
all different colors, and they were like 25 pesetas. So I'd bring like 100 of them home. 12 years old. Okay,
Wow.
I'm in middle school. I bring my whole arm filled with these bracelets, and everyone's asking me how they are. I say $1. I sold out of all of them. I came back the next day, filled up the arm, sold out of all of them 2, 3 times, and I made like $300 in a couple days. Now remember, I just paid like $50 for these things. So I realized I made $250. What do you think I did with my money? I went out and bought a Nintendo, right? Now, as a little kid, my parents weren't going to buy me a Nintendo. So I realized if I can make money, I can buy the things that I want.
This is
And and
brilliant.
that's when I realized I wanted to be an entrepreneur, is when I realized I could make things happen out of nothing. And then when I graduated college, I
What your
worked.
parents thought about this experience? Did they ever find out that you were doing this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everybody knew. Like,
And
ev-
what they thought? Did they say, "Wow, that's something what you did," or "You shouldn't be selling to your friends in school"? You should be studying.
everybody thought it was amazing, and everybody supported me.
Very good.
I was even creating my own comic books and then selling those in school. I was always
Wow.
trying new things, right? Trying to sell. I like being creative, right? Now, when I graduated college and I went into IT corporate for 7 years, companies like IBM, pharmaceutical companies, I was
Wow.
doing a lot of IT corporate, right? I found myself at my low point in my life. I was very miserable. I was not happy at all. And 1 year, I got laid off from a job after a year of being there and transforming their business from pre internet to internet with the website and sales.
Wow.
This is 2004. So it's 20 years ago. And I transformed this company, made them all this money, and they laid me off because they didn't need me anymore. And that's the moment when I realized I'm corporate. I took my consulting company, which at the time just started and was starting to make money from building websites for people, building custom computers for people. And I opened up a brick and mortar store where people could come in, have consultations, drop off their stuff to sell online, build websites. I was trying to do all sorts of things, hired a couple of employees to work there for me. And that kind of took off till I sold it in 2012. And that's when I kind of really started taking off into like the tech industry.
Wow. Jason, it's fantastic. I applaud your parents and your family to support you because sometimes we see that kids they have this mindset. They start to make a little bit of money and something like this, and then the parents go there and say, "Well, you should be studying class. You shouldn't be selling to your friends." And you know, well, this is the first people that you start to sell when you have a business.
Yeah, they have to support you.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. My parents always told me to go get a job. Right? It was always go get a job, go get
Yeah,
a
like my
job, go
one.
get a job.
My one
But
told me all the time, my parents are teachers, so mine. They
my
always
parents
tell
are
me all the
teachers
time,
too.
you go to university
Go get
and
a job.
then you have to study and then you find a job. This is what I've been told all my life. I went to university after 5 years. I got a chemical engineering diploma. I showed it to them. They were very happy. I never used it again for anything in my life.
At least I got a degree in
I don't
computers.
know. Yeah, I got the paper, but if you put it inside the lab, chemical lab, I'm
At least you made your parents happy.
yeah. So yeah, make my parents happy. Yeah, I did have a lot of fun in university. Yeah,
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
yeah,
college was fun.
making friends and everything. Not paying attention to the lessons because no, that interested to me. But I did have a lot of fun in university. One of
But
the
you got to follow your dreams and your passions, man. If you're working for these big corporate companies and do a paycheck and you're giving them all your ideas and all your energy and all your work and you come home and you have nothing in return, you're going to be unhappy. So if you have ideas and you have creativity and you have passion and you want to build things, you got to go for it, man. You got to go for it. You have to.
Actually, by accident, my university did something very good for me. I did now joining Steve Jobs only said that you can join the dots backwards. The I got a degree in chemical engineering, and the reason was that when I was in Cuba, then I got to Madrid to live. Yeah, and when I arrived to Madrid, yeah, it was the .com in
Oh.
boom back then, and then I got a degree in chemical engineering, and I loved it. There was a lot of party there. But the chemical engineering is in Tarragona, close to Barcelona. This is where the industry is in Spain for that. And I'm thinking, no way, I'm going to Tarragona. I'm staying here in Madrid. I love the city, the party. And there's no way that I'm going to Tarragona. And I was trying to find my way in Spain. And then I go to a company. Yeah, my cousin opened the door for me for a company. And I go, and the company told me, okay, look, we need software developers, and the fact that you're an engineer, that's gonna help us because the .com they were looking for software developers like crazy all over the world, yeah, and it was not enough of them, so now they need to take engineers, and they said, look, don't worry, with you, we only need that you have this mindset for engineering. Don't worry, we'll teach you the language. They showed me JavaScript, they showed me Oracle, they showed me a few things. There I was writing code in Madrid, very happy, and then I did this for a while on the project management. So, however, every time that I went to university in the 5 years, I was listening only one word every single day, several times, which is problem. You go there, okay, mathematical problem, physical problem, chemical problem. So every day you have to solve a problem. In different classes, you're solving problems. Okay, these problems are theoretical, but at the end are problems. So spend 5 years solving theoretical problems. And then guess what? After you open your business, and what's the first word you hear? Problem. But the minds after being 5 years solving problems, when I see a problem, I know that well, the problems can be solved.
Yep.
They can have more than one solution. Sometimes take longer, sometimes take shorter.
Sure.
Because I solved so many theoretical that your brain have a certain condition to solve problem. This is something that my university days have helped me in my entrepreneurial life.
That's
Jason,
great.
what advice do you have for the tech entrepreneurs that they are listening this podcast right now? They are reevaluating everything that we say. Yeah, they're gonna take this product and reshape it and keep it simple and listen what we discussed today. Yeah. Any resources that you can share, obviously in this broadcast, all the you gave us, we're gonna display it. But any resources, any type of information that you can share to take a startup founders that they can help them to grow.
Yeah, I mean, these days we have everything at our fingertips, right? I mean, we have YouTube and we have ChatGPT, and like we talked earlier, you got to learn a little bit about everything. What I would say is learn what all of the companies in the past have done or did right and wrong. So like look on TechCrunch, look on all the articles, look on all the Crunchbase, look on YouTube, watch videos, read blogs, read articles about all of the big companies and the things that they did right early on and the things that they did wrong later on. So you can either do the things they did or avoid the things that they did. And that way you can understand at least how the ecosystem works. In order to succeed, and this is a key piece of advice, you really have to find a good team early on. You cannot do everything by yourself. Even if you can do everything by yourself, you should not be doing everything by yourself. You need to find someone who's good at marketing, someone who's good at content creation, someone who's good at selling, someone who's good at tech. Even if you're good at all those things, you still got to find a team, because investors, of course, they want to see a team. They don't want to see a solo founder. There are rarely solo founders in history, right? Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, all these people have amazing teams backing them up. They have the ideas and they do a lot of the work, but even Steve Jobs has Steve Wozniak, right? So you got to really look at the fact that you can't do it by yourself. You need people. And if you do find people early on, that means that you have a good idea because they want to join you, right? So tech founders, put together a good team, build an MVP, validate your products, get your customers, get your funding, scale and sell to Google or somebody else.
And with that note, thank you so much, Jason. Have been amazing. And for all of you following this broadcast, see you in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneurs like Jason break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.